If you've been looking at homes in Southwest Florida lately, you've probably noticed something. A lot of the more affordable options are older homes. And that raises a question I get all of the time. Is buying an older home in Southwest Florida a smart move, or is it a risk you really don't want to take? The truth is, it can be either one, depending on what you're looking for and how well you understand what you're getting into. So today I want to walk you through the real pros and cons of buying an older home here in Southwest Florida so you can make the right decision for you. Because older homes here are not created equal, and what looks like a great deal on the outside can end up being a complete nightmare on the inside. Now, real quick, if we haven't met yet, I am Jessica Gatewood, a locally born and raised real estate expert. And I am here to help you simplify the process and make smart decisions, whether you are buying, selling, or just exploring your options. As always, I'm starting with the positives today. One of the biggest pros is the quality of construction. A lot of the homes built in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and even early 2000s, many people will tell you today they just don't build them like they used to. Short backstory, my grandfather and grandmother moved here in the 50s from Michigan with a company called Michigan Homes. My grandfather built homes with Michigan Homes from 1950 to 1972. And when he started his own business, sold his portion of ownership of that business and started his own business here building homes. So a lot of homes in Fort Myers were actually built by my grandfather, whether it be with that company, Michigan Homes, or his next company, Sun Country Homes. So it's always so fun when I walk into a house in Fort Myers and Tanglewood or Whiskey Creek. There's a lot of them. And it's like, my grandpa built this. You can tell there's certain aspects of his building that you just don't see anymore. Not only is it better materials, but it's the quality of craftsmanship that you really don't see too often anymore, especially when you compare them to some of the high volume new construction that's out there today. Another huge advantage to the older homes is location. The older homes are usually in more established neighborhoods, closer to downtown Fort Myers and the river, for instance, closer to downtown Cape Coral and all that has to offer. They're in mature communities with mature landscaping, bigger trees, and less of that under construction or underdeveloped feeling that you'll see in other parts of the cities. That often also comes with larger lots and more space between homes, which is something a lot of buyers are starting to prioritize again. With that location factor, you are likely avoiding some of the other costs that come in, like CDD fees, which is Community Development District. That is an assessment on your tax bill that goes towards developing a community. A lot of people don't realize that. And then, obviously there's your standard HOA fees or stricter restrictions. Let's talk about where things can get a little tricky with the older homes. Obviously, this is where you really need to pay attention. The biggest factor right now in Southwest Florida is insurance. So if an older home has an aging roof, outdated plumbing, an outdated electrical system, older AC system, you can be looking at significantly higher insurance rates, or in some cases, difficulty getting insurance at all. Insurance companies are paying very close attention, more so than ever since the natural disasters we experienced, but to roof age, especially anything over 15 years old, it's really got to be in great shape. Polybutylene plumbing is not accepted by insurance companies, and that hasn't been accepted for a while. Electrical panels and wiring, so if those haven't been updated, that is either going to be a requirement by the insurance company or it's going to be a factor into what makes your rate a little bit higher. Another con, which is probably a little more obvious, is the cost of maintenance and updates. Even if the home is structurally solid, older homes tend to need ongoing upkeep, whether that's replacing the HVAC systems, the AC and heating system, updating windows and doors, or just doing standard updating to cosmetic stuff like kitchens and bathrooms and floors and paint and light fixtures. Those costs can add up quickly if you are not managing them up front. You are also going to want to look at things like the flood zone and the elevation of each particular property. Some of these older homes may and probably do sit much lower than the newer ones, and that will be a factor in your flood insurance premium. If you are finding this information helpful, make sure you subscribe, and you can also sign up for my weekly Front Porch newsletter, which is an email newsletter where I go over things like a deal of the week that I might be seeing, some awesome community events happening that week, and what's really happening in the Southwest Florida market. So here's where I like to give a little perspective, because I'm not telling you to avoid older homes altogether. Some of the best opportunity I see for my clients are in these older homes, especially the ones that have already had the major components updated, like their roof, the AC, plumbing, electrical. Even if it's just one or two of those things, that's really helpful for you in the long term. These homes can give you the character, the location, and the quality without the biggest risks. But the key is knowing what to look for and, more importantly, what to avoid. So if you're even thinking about buying an older home in Southwest Florida, I highly recommend getting some guidance on that before you start falling in love with properties, because not all older homes are going to qualify the same way when it comes to insurance and financing. The best place to start this journey is by downloading my relocation roadmap, which is available in the description below. That's a quick little guide on how to best get started on the buying process here in Southwest Florida. And if you want help evaluating a specific property, understanding insurance implications, or figuring out if something is actually a good deal, I'd love to help. You can reach out to me directly. My contact information is below. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.